Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we are going to see complete roadmap to become a front-end developer. Okay, I will be explaining you the step-by-step process how to become front-end developer, and also I will be helping you to make plan of how to become front-end developer. Okay, before that you should always know how good the roadmap is. Without practicing, without doing any work, you are not going to become front-end developer. Okay, if you just practice for 2-3 hours, it is not going to help. If you want to become front-end developer, then you have to practice a lot. You have to make more projects, only then you are going to understand and you will become a front-end developer. You should always practice and practice. Okay, so let's get started, and I will be telling you step-by-step process, and you can note it down or you can take the screenshots of the slides. Okay, so let's get started. So before moving, first we have to understand what is front end. Okay, front end is nothing but it is a part of the website that the user interacts with directly is termed as front end. Now suppose if you are visiting website and if you just search for some random website and whatever content you are seeing, whatever design you are seeing, suppose the heading is here and the paragraph is here, the form is here, whatever design you are seeing, that is nothing but that is front end. Okay, so design that one, whatever technologies you have to learn, what all tools you have to learn. Okay, we are going to see step-by-step procedure, and this is nothing but front end. In any website, whatever is visible to you, that is nothing but front end. Now almost everyone tells to learn to become front-end developers. First we have to start with this basic technologies HTML, CSS and JavaScript. But when it comes to my opinion, I would say completely no. First you should not jump to HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Before moving to HTML, CSS and JavaScript, first you have to know the basic of internet. You should know what is internet. So first concept you have to understand this, and I will be telling you step-by-step process. So first you have to learn internet. About internet you have to search how internet works. Okay, how internet works, how we are going to get the data. Suppose if you are just searching in website for youtube.com, how you are receiving on the youtube.com website, and also the related videos and information about YouTube. If you are searching for NASA, how you are getting related information about NASA and particular website. So you should get to know how internet is working. And here I am having one picture, and inside this, okay, suppose if you are just searching in browser, suppose let us take Chrome browser. Inside Chrome you are just typing for nasa.com and you are just sending the request, and that request will be stored inside servers. Okay, there will be servers. You don't have to worry when you are becoming front-end developer. You just have to know basics of servers. If you want to become back-end developer, you will learn about servers there. But as a front-end developer, only basic knowledge of servers you have to know. You don't have to know the advanced. Okay, you can just skip as well. But if you know what are servers and how the data will be stored, then that will be very good. Okay, if you have just searched for nasa.com, you are sending the request and all the related data will be stored inside the servers, and server will process our request and it is going to send the response to our computers, to our system. It is going to send the response in the form of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. We are going to see what is HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Before that, you should understand how internet works. We are requesting the data, we are requesting that particular data, and all the data will be stored inside the servers, and from servers the data will be processed, and whatever matching results we are getting, that data will be sent to us as a response. Okay, so we have to know this process, how we are going to work and how we are going to get the data, how we are sending the data, and also how we are getting the data. Okay, you have to know about this, how internet works. Then you have to know about browsers. There are plenty of browsers. You can select whichever you are comfortable. You can select your favorite browser, but as my personal suggestion, I would always go with Chrome or Internet Explorer. You can select your favorite browser and you can start working. Then next you have to learn about domain name system. What is this domain? What is this domain name? What is this domain name system? Okay, it is nothing but it is just a phone book of internet. Suppose if you are just using mobile, and in your mobile you have saved plenty of contact, and if you just want to call your father, you are just going to search for the father name, whatever you have saved. You are going to call your father and the father will take your call and he is going to respond to your call. So in the same way, if you are searching for something in internet, then that particular thing should be having one name. If let us say if your friend has created one website and he has given the name as webdevelopment.com. If you want to go to that website, then you have to search by that name, webdevelopment.com. Only then you will be getting that result, or you will be getting that website. So it is just a phone book of internet. Okay, whatever information you want through online, through internet, you have to give that particular name and the information will be sent to you and you can view that information. So it is just like a phone book of internet, and human can access information online through domain names like we have youtube.com, website.com, google.com. okay, everything are domain names. youtube.com, it is the domain name. google.com, it is the domain name. Now here I am having the definition of this domain name. Okay, if you want, you can just take note of this, or you can just take the screenshot of this. A domain name is an identification string that defines okay, it's actually real name of administrative autonomy, authority or control with the internet. Okay, it is going to have the control within the internet. Whatever you are going to search, that will be displayed to you. And next I am having this hosting name. Okay, now hosting is nothing but you have created the website. Now you just want to display that website in the Google. Okay, wherever you want, you just want to display that website. So you have to save all the data inside servers. Only then whatever we are searching inside the Google, that request will be sent to servers, and from servers we are going to get the response. So all the data, all the files should be stored in the servers. So for that we have to buy one hosting service. While watching YouTube videos, you would have gotten many advertisements like Hostinger, we are having GoDaddy, we are having many hosting providers. So you can select any one of them, you can buy servers and you can upload all your files, and you can just you can just do SEO and you can rank your website in Google. You should know what is domain name and what is hosting name. Hosting name is very important if you just want to host your websites. And it is a service through which storage and computing resources are providing to an individual or organizations for the accommodation and maintenance of one or more websites and related services. Okay, once you create website and once you want to host website, then you will understand about this hosting name, but you should know this. But before creating website or before making any project, you don't have to go in depth knowledge of this. What is this hosting name? What is this domain name? You just have to understand what is domain name and how they are hosted inside the Google and how they are ranking in Google. When you search inside the Google, how you are getting that particular request, how you are getting that particular response, only that you have to know. Once you know this one, only then you have to go to HTML. Okay, second thing you are going to learn is HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is nothing but, okay, here I am having this car and this car is having only the structure. Okay, it is not having any design and it is not having any start, break, anything. Okay, it does not have any functionality and any design, only structure I am having. In the same way, if you are creating website, you should be having the basic structure of the website. Okay, without structure, without HTML, we cannot create any website. So HTML you should always learn. Okay, to create structure, to give structure to your website, you should always learn HTML. Okay, you should just know in my website there is a heading, there is a paragraph, there is a button. So for that we need HTML to give structure. To tell whatever we are having inside the website, we need HTML. Okay, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is not any programming language, it is just a markup language. It is a language for web. Now once you have learned HTML, once you get to know how to design, how to give the structure to your website, then finally comes CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. And once you have designed the car, once you have just given the structure to the car, then you have to give color to the car. You just have to give colors, you have to give, okay, whatever stylings you want to give, you just have to give using CSS. Now suppose you are created website using HTML, you are having heading, paragraph, buttons, everything you are having, but using CSS you can tell where my heading should get displayed, what color my heading should have, how much width my paragraph should take, how much letter spacing my paragraph letters should take, how much width my website should take. Okay, everything you will get to know once you learn about CSS. After learning HTML, giving structure, then CSS, giving designs, giving styles to your website, then you don't have to jump to JavaScript. Okay, first you have to learn what is responsive web design. Now responsive web design is nothing but you have created the website only for desktop version. Suppose you have just created website and you have hosted the website, and if the user wants to see that website in mobile, then that user will get horizontal scroll bars, because you have not designed for mobile version, for tablet version you have not designed, only for desktop version you have created the website. So you should always learn responsive web design, and responsive web design is nothing but the design whatever you are going to create that is going to look good on all the screen devices. A responsive web design will adjust automatically for different screen devices and viewports. Okay, you should learn what is viewport. You should, okay, when you are creating HTML, then you will be having one viewport attribute. You have to learn that one, what is that one and why it is useful. You should know what are responsive web designs. Now if you just create website only for desktop version, and if the user is seeing in mobile, then they will be getting horizontal scroll bar, which is going to give bad user experience. And after that, that user will not visit your website. So you should be very familiar with responsive web design. And if you apply for front-end developer job, then they are going to see responsive web design if you are having this in your resume or not. Okay, this is very, very useful. Once you learn CSS, then directly learn responsive web design. Okay, that is nothing but media queries, maximum width, minimum width, everything you have to learn. Once you learn about responsive web design, there are some of the topics you have to learn in CSS. We are having box model. Inside box model, you should know what is content, what is padding, what is margin, what are borders and what are outlines. Okay, once you learn this basic model, then you will get to know these particular elements where padding should be given. Padding is nothing but giving space from inside. Margin you have to learn. Margin is giving space from outside. You have to learn all the content. You have to practice that one, how margin, how padding is being divided. Then you will understand this box model. You should know what are CSS grids. You should also know what are flex boxes. Flex boxes are very, very important to give the layers, to design your layout of the website. Flex boxes are very important. Before everybody, almost everybody were using float, but once this flex boxes has comes, most of them, almost everyone uses flex boxes. We are having like properties like display to be flex. Once we give display, we can use justify content, align items, flex start, flex end. We are having many properties inside this. You have to learn this one. Then comes positioning. Positioning also plays a very important role. We are having relative, we are having absolute, static, okay, sticky. We are having many positioning. You have to learn about these properties. Then you will get to know where this element should be positioned, how this is relative to the parent. You will learn everything about positioning. Okay, once you learn these basic topics in CSS, then finally you have to go to JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is nothing but giving interactivity to your website. You have just created the website, you have added all the designs inside your website, and you are just creating some buttons. Now you are telling that whenever I click on this button, I want this form should be opened. Whenever I click on this button, I want this form should be closed. Whenever I click on this button, I want this background color should be changed. Okay, you are adding interactivity. Okay, you will find many buttons inside the websites. You will find many things inside the website where you can interact with the website. Here I am having this picture car. Inside this, when you want to start the car, you are just starting the car. Okay, you are telling the car I want to start. Maybe you are pressing the button, or you are just starting that one. Okay, for that we are writing JavaScript code. If you want to stop the car, we are writing JavaScript code for that. Okay, for cars you are not writing. I'm just taking the example. When you are creating website, for all the work, okay, for all the interactions, we are going to write JavaScript code. Okay, JavaScript plays a very important role to add interactivity to your website. If you want to become front-end developer, then JavaScript is must. You have to learn JavaScript. Let it be basic. You have to learn from basic to advanced, but you have to learn JavaScript. You cannot skip JavaScript. And also, if you learn JavaScript, there is also one advantage, that is nothing but JavaScript can be used both as front end and back end. If you just, maybe in future, if you just plan to become full stack web developer, then JavaScript will be acting both as back end and front end. Okay, if you want to use JavaScript in back end, then we are going to use Node.js, and Node.js will help us to run JavaScript outside the browsers. Okay, so JavaScript will be very useful, and this will be the right choice to select JavaScript if you want to become full stack developer. JavaScript is nothing but it is used to add interactivity to your website. Okay, whatever functionality we are going to write, like starting, stopping, opening the form, closing the form, sending data, okay, everything we are just doing using JavaScript. Okay, behind process you don't have to worry. Behind, front-end developer are not going to care about what process is going behind, how the data is stored inside the servers, how the data is processed. You don't have to worry about that when you want to become front-end developer. You just have to know basics. You don't have to go in depth. You just know the basics. You just see 2-3 videos, then you will understand the basics. But JavaScript is must. You have to learn JavaScript. Then in JavaScript also there are many topics you have to learn, and these are the most important topics which are going to be asked in interviews as well. You have to know DOM manipulation, document object model, how we have to manipulate the DOM, how we can change the content when we click on the button, how the form will be opened, how we can change the background color, everything you have to know. You should know how DOM manipulation works. Then you have to learn ECMAScript, that is ES6 2015, most important advanced JavaScript. ECMAScript you have to learn. Whatever updates we are having inside this ECMAScript 2015, these are very important. And once you learn this ECMAScript, this is also going to help when you learn React. Okay, React we are going to see later, but you have to learn ECMAScript, and also you should know Ajax technology. You have to know how to fetch APIs. We are going to work a lot with APIs. You should know how to fetch APIs. You should know what are prototypes, hoisting and event bubbling. Okay, prototype, hoisting, event bubbling are very important topics, and these are the most common questions asked in interviews. Okay, this DOM manipulation, ECMAScript, Ajax technology and fetch API, I have already uploaded videos on this if you want, and also I will be giving these links in the description. If you want, you can refer these videos, or you can just search in Google or YouTube. You will find plenty of videos related to these topics. You can select your favorite video and you can learn these topics. Don't skip these topics. These topics are very important to become front-end developer. Then finally, you have learned HTML, you have learned CSS, you have learned JavaScript, and also you know how internet works. Then everybody loves keeping track of all the work, whatever we have done. We want to save our work somewhere so that we can refer later. So for that we have to learn version control system, and that is nothing but Git. We have to learn Git, and it is nothing but it is an open source distributed version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. Okay, now you are created, now you just went to one company and you were selected and you got a project. You designed the project and you submitted the project, and the project got accepted, and after 2 months your manager told you to change the project, and you have changed the project, you have updated that project. That updated project you have submitted to the manager, and maybe after 2 months again he came to you and he told whatever previous project you made, that he need. Okay, if you are having backup of that previous project, you can submit to the manager. But if you are not having backup, as we all know, companies projects will be very large and we will not be having 1 or 2 files. We will be having plenty and plenty of files. Now if you just want the previous project and if you don't have any backup, you should go to all the files. You have to check wherever updation you have done. You have to change the entire files, and it is very time consuming and nobody likes to do that work. We cannot update all the files again and again, whatever we have done or whatever we have already done previously. So for that we have to learn Git. Okay, Git is very important. Okay, if you want to become front-end, back-end, whatever you want to become, whatever developer you want to become, Git is very important. You have to learn this version control system, and this is going to maintain all the versions of your project. One updation it is going to save, and again whatever updation you can do that will be changed, that will be saved as a second updation, then again third updation, fourth updation. If your manager wants the previous updation, you can just give him the first version. You can just save your project in versions, and based on the versions you can just send it to your manager. You don't have to change again and again. You can just send that particular version to your manager. So Git is very important in every field to save your project, to keep track of your project. Now we have to host our project somewhere so that we can view later, so that we can see whatever versions we are having, whatever updations we are having. So for that we have to learn repo hosting services, and we are having GitHub, GitLab and Bitbucket. Totally we are having 3. You can learn any one of this. You don't have to learn all the 3. You can learn any one of this: GitHub, GitLab and Bitbucket. And Git and GitHub in one video I have already uploaded. If you want, you can refer that one. And also I will be giving the link in the description. You can refer that one. These are the hosting services. GitHub, GitLab and Bitbucket cannot be worked without Git, but Git can be worked without all these 3. Okay, so you should learn Git, and then you should come to GitHub, or you can learn GitHub, or you can go to Git. Based on your requirement and based on your convenience, you can learn any one of this. You can learn in any way, but you have to learn Git, GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. Okay, to save all your projects, to keep track of all your projects, you have to learn this one. Then finally comes package managers. We are having npm and we are having yarn. Okay, you can learn any one of this. You don't have to learn entire thing. I'm just telling you, I'm just giving you the plan. You can make your own plan. Whatever you want to learn, then you can search for that. You can do some research and you can learn. Okay, you don't have to learn entire thing. You just have to select any one of this, npm or yarn. Okay, you can learn any one of this. Now after learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and you have to write plenty of codes for entire thing. Now maybe in companies when you go, you don't have to write the entire code. Okay, you are are not going to write the entire code. The code will already be present. Okay, these are nothing but, suppose in your fridge you are storing vegetables, and whenever you want vegetables, you are just opening the fridge and you are getting that vegetables. That vegetables are already stored inside the fridge, and you are just taking the vegetables and you are using that vegetables. Okay, I'm just telling whatever it is stored inside the fridge. So in the same way, all the code, whatever you want, that will be available inside this packages. Whatever code you want, suppose if you just want the code of digital clock, you can just write npm digital clock, and all the ready-made code will be available to you. You just have to install this package and import this package, and you can use this inside your projects. In the same way you can do for yarn also. Okay, these are very, very important. When you learn React, then this npm, okay, you will come across these words. Mostly you will come across these words, npm, yarn, everything you will come across, but you should know basics of npm and also yarn. Okay, you can select any one of this, but you should know the basic understanding of this one. Why package managers are useful and what is the use of using this one. Next comes CSS architecture. I think most of you watching this video will not be aware of this BEM. BEM stands for block element modifier. You don't have to get scared with this word. If you don't know this one, no problem. It is not a very big thing. It is just a naming convention for classes in HTML and CSS. Okay, most of us, even including me, when I want to give classes inside HTML, I always get confused what classes I want to give, and I give random classes. But I want to do any updation, it will be very difficult for me and I will mess with the code. So for that, BEM is very, very important CSS architecture, naming convention for classes in HTML and CSS. And here I am having this example. Now you can see here I am having one form. Now here I am just having this form, and inside this form I am having this div. Okay, now this div is the child of this form. Now for this parent I have given the class as search. Now for this div, first whatever class I have given for this, the same class I have given here, then double underscore, okay, double underscore, and whatever class you want you can give here. And again inside this div container I am having this label, and for this label also I have given this search. Okay, whatever class name I have given for the parent, I have just given the same class name, then again double underscore and label. Okay, then second word can be anything based on your requirement you can give, but here I have given label. Then for input also here I am having search, double underscore and input. Okay, first whatever search, okay, whatever class I have given for the parent, I am just passing that one. Again for button also I have done the same thing, search, double underscore and submit. This is the best naming convention when it comes to naming classes in HTML and CSS. Okay, you have to learn about this CSS architecture, that is BEM. BEM stands for block element modifier. Now next, once you have learned entire thing, then you should learn CSS preprocessors. Now CSS preprocessors are nothing but it is a special CSS files that are going to contain variables, functions, mixins and other functionalities which are not possible with basic style sheets. They offer an easy solution that enables scalability with efficiency. You don't have to worry. We are having here I am having less stylus and Sass. You can go with Sass. You can just start creating your basic projects using Sass. We are using CSS preprocessors because many functionalities are not supported in CSS. So for that we are using this preprocessors, and these are very useful. And also it is very important, if you want to become front-end developer, at least one you have to know, either Sass or either less or either stylus. Now once everything is done, once we have learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript, responsive designs, okay, and version control system, CSS preprocessor, everything we have learned. Okay, now we can start creating projects. You can create multiple projects, you can deploy your projects inside GitHub, you can host your projects. Now you know almost everything, but to speed up your website you should choose one framework, and we are having Angular, Vue.js and React. Basically React is a library, but because of its flexibility and speed, most of the people compare it with as a framework. So we call React as a framework. So you can choose any one of this, but as my personal suggestion, I would always suggest you to go with React, but it completely depends on you. Whatever you want to choose, you can choose. It completely depends on your choice. In whichever you are comfortable, you can select that any one of the framework and you can go. Angular is created by Google and React is created by Facebook. Vue.js, it is not more popular, but you can create projects using Vue as well. But you can select any one of the framework to speed up your website. We are having React, Angular and Vue.js, any one you can select from this. Now once you have learned this one, then you have to learn modern CSS. Once you learn any library or any framework, then only you have to learn modern CSS. Only then these concepts will be useful. If you are learning basic CSS and then you are learning this modern CSS, then it is not going to help you, because we have not learned any libraries. Once you learn libraries or framework, only then you have to come to modern CSS in JS libraries. Okay, we are having styled components. Okay, maybe you are seeing for the very first time. It's okay, no problem. You can still learn this one. As soon as you see this video, you don't have to search for the style components. Once you learn all these 9 things, whatever I have told you, once you learn about libraries and frameworks, only then come to styled components. And styled components are nothing but it is a library built for React and React Native developers. Now React Native is nothing but for mobile applications we are going to use React Native. Now this style components let us write actual CSS in our JavaScript. When we are writing JavaScript, first we have to select that particular element. Okay, if we want to do any manipulation, first we have to select that particular element and then we have to do any updation. If you want to change the style, if you want to change the background color, we are going to do it like that. But when we are using style components, it will allow us to write actual CSS inside JavaScript, which means we can write all the features of CSS, what we are going to use and what we love to use. We can use actual CSS inside JavaScript. Okay, if you just search in Google for style components, you will be getting the official document of this. You can just refer for that document for better understanding. Then next we are having this emotion, and this emotion is also a library designed for writing CSS styles with JavaScript, and it is going to provide powerful and predictable style compositions in addition to a great developer experience with features such as maps, labels and testing utilities. Okay, this is also very important. Okay, you can learn any one of this, like style components you can learn, emotion you can learn, or you can learn this glamorous. Now this glamorous is nothing but it is a lightweight library. Okay, these all are libraries. It is a lightweight library for CSS in JavaScript with a simple API that's similar to style components, and that is going to make use of glamour under the hood. You can learn any one of these, and these are going to be very important when you learn libraries or frameworks like React, Angular or Vue. These will be very useful. Style components, emotion or glamorous. Okay, this is nothing but modern CSS, and this is going to allow us to write CSS in JavaScript. Then next comes CSS frameworks. There are basically two types of CSS frameworks. The first is CSS which don't come with JavaScript components by default. Almost everyone would heard of Bootstrap. We are having Materialize, and finally we are having Bulma. Out of these three, you can learn any one of this, either Bootstrap or either Materialize or either Bulma. Okay, based on your requirement you can select, but I personally suggest for Bootstrap. You can go for Bootstrap. Bulma is also very useful. It is a free open source CSS framework based on the Flexbox and built with Sass. Okay, I already told you about Sass. Sass is nothing but it is a preprocessor of CSS. Okay, these are frameworks, and it is going to give 100% responsive, fully modular websites, and it is completely available for free. You can either learn Bootstrap or Materialize or Bulma. Any one of this you can learn, but mostly preferred is Bootstrap. Now next, second type is CSS frameworks based on JavaScript applications. We are having Materialize UI, React Strap and Tailwind CSS. Once you learn React, then these are very important. Material UI, you will be getting many icons inside this. You can learn this one. Okay, you will be getting ready-made code. You just have to copy and paste and you will get your website ready in minutes. We are having React Strap and Tailwind CSS. Okay, you can learn any one of this or you can learn all three. Okay, all three are very important. Now this React Strap is going to export all the correct Bootstrap classes, or it does not need to include or use any Bootstrap JS classes. Okay, it is going to import or it is going to export all the correct Bootstrap classes. And it is nothing but it is a simple, customizable and accessible library of React components. Okay, you can learn any one of this or you can learn all the three. Now once you learn all the things, whatever I have taught you, CSS frameworks, we are having modern CSS, we are having frameworks. Okay, if you learn all these things, okay, now you are ready to become a front-end developer. And finally we are having here the last slide of the day. Learning never stops. We all know learning never stops. We should keep on learning, we should keep on practicing. So always keep learning, keep growing your knowledge, keep spreading your knowledge, keep practicing. Only then you will understand the concepts. If you just leave it for 1 or 2 months, then you are going to forget entire thing. Again, you have to start from the scratch. So keep practicing, keep learning, don't stop learning, always be open for learning. Be curious to learn new things. Search in Google, always get new information, learn the technologies, give your time, invest your time so that you will get good returns in future. Okay, if you have any doubts, and also I have activated my Instagram account. If you have any doubts, you can message me in Instagram and I am definitely going to answer all your queries. And between 7:30 AM to 8:30 AM, I will be answering all your queries. And in between that, if I don't answer, don't worry, I am going to answer all your queries between 7:30 AM to 8:30 AM. So recently my sister suggested me to activate my Insta account. So I have just activated recently, and I will be putting the link in the description. If you want, you can just send the screenshot of whatever issues you are facing or whatever problems you are having while doing projects. I will try to solve all your issues. Okay, that's all from my end. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.